Are you a little overwhelmed, feeling isolated, angry, frustrated, unacknowledged, or fearful? Do you find yourself wanting to retreat from the world? Then it's time to break down the barriers and say yes to yourself. Join me, Christine Clark, on Forging a Life to spark the ignition and put your life into drive. We'll cover how to ignite full circle success on your terms. You can forge through. Every episode, I share a life forging tip to spark your liberated, energized, and profoundly satisfying life. It has never been a question of, do you have what it takes? It is only, are you willing to try? Forging a Life is about you and our world, as each of us forge our unique destiny. We light the way for others, igniting world-healing transformation. Step into the work and make an effort. Trust yourself and the process of becoming. Forging a Life starts now. What is chaos? A state of confusion? Does my desk piled with papers or that stack of unwashed laundry qualify as chaos? You know, Merriam-Webster says it's a state of things in which chance is supreme. Maybe chaos is unpredictability, like the weather. Or maybe it's a normal part of complex systems, like all the water on our planet that they call the hydrosphere, or the biology of our bodies. What does chaos feel like? What do we label as chaos? That's a question. And if we associate chaos with instability, randomness, stress, and anxiety, how in the world can it transfer to beauty, creation, new levels of consciousness? Those are excellent questions, and I am so glad you asked. I'm Christine Clark, and this is Forging a Life. You know, when I was putting this show together, I was trying to decide what do I want to bring? What do I want to focus on? And I just started writing. And as I continued to write, I found myself just dumping onto the sheet of paper a lot of what I was holding on to. A little bit of it was chaos, but stress and overwhelm and what's happening and what should be happening and what would it look like if we could take care of everybody. And I just started putting it down and down and down. And I'll tell you, as a coach, cathartic writing, journaling out is huge. It's wonderful. But when I looked at my dump, it's like, nah, we don't want to, this is not pretty. This is not what I want to bring out. So what was the message of hope? What is the inspiration for my seekers, for you, for those of you listening? And then it came to me that the Forging Life process, what I teach on, what I train on, one of the big tools in my toolbox, is available. And it's interesting that when we dump and when we clear the energies, we suddenly have epiphanies. And in the Forging a Life process, we emerge and then we vision and then we release and then we can transform so that we can flourish. And in truth, it's not necessarily cyclical because all of these different things can be happening in different parts of our lives. But the emergence part is when we have awareness, when there is disruption, when we have pain. It's that part that is necessary for us to come out of where we were or want to come out of what we are in and get some, choose something new, find a new path. We need that. We need to emerge because without awareness, we can't change anything. If you're not aware of it, you can't choose differently. And then from there, we move into the vision, which is, what is it that you desire? What do we aspire to? What is it that we want? And then how to prepare for that? How do we plan to bring that to fruition? And as we step into the work of engaging with the plan, of creating what we want to create, we set intention and we take action, and it's a learning curve, which requires release, because no amount of planning is ever going to give you all of the understandings and cover every possibility. I mean, we can contingency plan until we're blue in the face. But until you actually take action and find out what does or doesn't work, you can't really know it until you experience it. Experience is our teacher. And in that experience, we learn to release, we learn to let go of our preconceived notions, and we open up to new possibilities, to growth, to finding those parts, both in the work and in ourselves, that we didn't even know was there, that are beautiful and strong and wonderful. And we transform. Transformation, true transformation, is internal shifts. Aligning yourself with your intuitive self, with your natural internal self. A lot of what we grow up with is our learning. It's how we are trained. It is how we are educated. And we find at some point that not everything that we were disciplined to do actually serves us. And sometimes we hide pieces and parts of ourselves in order to conform. Transformation is that internal shift where you can find your own true values and your own true self and work and begin to work in alignment with that self, which is beautiful. And then we can flourish. We can claim our imbued elements and honor our self-integrity and grow and thrive and become. All of this is based on the making of the Japanese style sword, the katana. And in the emergence piece, the smith has just a solid round bar of steel that goes into the fire and then comes out and gets pounded out into this straight, long piece that only hints at the beauty of the katana that's going to come. That is the emergence. And we are in this, and we go through this ourselves. And what really clicked with me is that we understand emergence. We have all been through this life-forging process where we emerge and we vision and we release and we transform and we flourish. Knowing that you've been in it and walk through in different parts of your life can give us an understanding of what's happening in the bigger world and get a grip on it. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be strange. The transformation piece, when the katana is almost finished, it gets dumped into a molten salt pipe filled with molten salt and held in the heat for a while and pulled out and allowed to cool. And then it gets put back in. And so it's in the molten salt. And in this process of being dipped into the furnace, actually changes the internal structure of the steel. And the steel shifts from face-centered, which is like dice with dots on the outside, to body-centered, which is like a cube with a light bulb in the center of it. And we do that when we transform internally and we shift from our outer-facing, educated life that we've been brought up to conform to into the internal piece of what is our light, what is our true light, and how do we learn to shine that? And it's a shift, and it's beautiful. You've been through this. All of us have been through this. And that's what really stuck with me, is that we can look at our own personal experience and understand that this experience allows us to understand the greater world. And our society is in the process of emerging. And it can be disruptive and it can feel uncomfortable, but we don't have to be afraid of it. It's the natural process that is leading to creation of something new, something better, something for all of us. And everyone has been through emergence in their life. Several weeks back, I had my guest. He was Sean Smith. And that's Bridging Divides. Go back and find it, listen to it. Very interesting conversation. But Sean was never paid any attention to politics at all. He didn't even go vote until several years back when a presidential candidate, there was talk of impeachment. And Sean has a criminal justice degree. And that little tiny piece caught his attention. It's like, I have a criminal justice degree. What's going on over here? And it was the catalyst for political awareness. For him, he is a student of human psyche and amazing coach in his own right. And it became a whole process of opening space for people to talk about why they were on different sides of ideas and why they backed certain people. And it became a whole piece for Sean to dive into, because he emerged from total blind to, oh, this is something, catalyst, emergence, awareness. He dove in and went through the process of learning more about people and how they create stories and why they follow and what their values and beliefs are. And fascinating. Riley Glenn, she was a guest in March. Go back and find her conversation. Love knows no boundaries. There's a lot of heartfelt stuff in that. But Riley also, as a destination wedding photographer, she had a transition where she happened to be in Hawaii, helping out with family, decided she wanted to photograph some weddings, be a wedding photographer for some people. She found some people that said, yeah, we'd love to have you as our photographer. So she got to have pictures of people being married in Hawaii, destination, went back home to Austin, Texas, and that really helped her business grow. And then there was also the transition for her to, she identified as bi and then shift to identifying as lesbian, because as she worked with these beautiful LGBTQ couples, she saw a depth of relationship, a depth of connection that she wasn't currently experiencing. And it opened up an awareness for her. So she had that immersion, the awareness, and then changed, a deep change within herself. I've also been through huge change, and I want to very much bring this to you. And I'm going to come back after the break. I'll talk to about my personal growth and immersion and through this process. When my son, my youngest son, decided, several years ago, broke away. That created an alienation between the two of us, directly, specifically at me, and some of the things I did or didn't do as a parent. Horrible piece to have to work through. A lot of energy in that, and disruption, and self looking at myself in different ways, because is this true? And where'd this come from? And all of that. But it led to some really beautiful, amazing growth. And I want to share that with you. Before we go too far on, we're going to break here in just a little bit. I am your host, Christine Clark. My mojo is positively impacting others. And I want to hear from you. So follow me on LinkedIn and on Instagram and YouTube, and leave a comment. Check out the website, foragingalife.com, to book your free, no holds barred coaching conversation session. But here's the big thing. Right now, I have a very, 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 very special offer for you. I am giving away a 6-session coaching program pro bono, so that you can step into the process of becoming, create a life of significance on your terms, emerge from the mire, the treadmill, the self-sabotage, vision forward, prepare to succeed, and release what does not serve you. I want that for you, and you want it for yourself. Transform your perspective and flourish. Email me at Christine@sunglowtransformation.com to put your name into the hat. And we're going to be right back after this break. Hello, welcome back. I am Christine Clark, and this is Forging a Life. Just before we took the break, I was talking about how all of us have been through the process of emerging to new awarenesses and disruption in our lives, which we have lived through, grown from. And that is a connection to give us hope for understanding the greater disruptions and growth that's happening in society. And we don't have to be afraid of that. We can understand our own processes and realize that those same processes are just acting out, working out on a bigger scale. But it's part of growth, it's part of creation. And I was talking about that my own son, my youngest son, had broke away from me several years ago. And part of the break was his accusation that I am racist. And I've always considered myself liberal. I have always engaged openly with all different kinds of people from all different kinds of places. And yet, what I knew is you're a white woman, girl, so you are racist. And he had a book that he demanded that I read. And if I didn't, he didn't want to talk to me until I read this book. And what that led me to is reading a lot of different books and exploring history, exploring society, learning deeper. And I love the awareness that came from it. Also, there was some anger to realize that my education through grade school and through high school was not complete in any way, shape, or form, and being a little bit pissed about that. But that whole process also brought me greater awareness to the changes and the conversations that are happening in society, and realizing that I don't want to just have this knowledge, but I want to do something with it. I don't want to just be angry. I want to act. And so it led me to activism. So this disruption that happened because my son breaking and becoming accusatory towards me actually led to some beautiful growth. So I emerged, and then I was able to create, what do I want this to look like? What do I want to do with this, and take steps forward? And so all of that is things that we have all done in our own life. We all have these disruptions. We have these challenges. We have these seasons where it's hard and it's difficult. And yet we have grown through those. We have come out of those. And it's part of creation, part of creating, doing something new. It's what's needed. And the Big Bang Theory, which is, theory on how the universe came to existence, spectacularly, chaotically, almost like 14 billion years ago, give or take. I don't understand the science or the mathematics, that's way over my head, but it was a huge disruption event that begat all the laws of physics as we know them and life. The universe created within it, our solar system, within it, our Earth, where we just happen to get an atmosphere and water and all the elements for life to explode, to grow, to come from. And you look at all the diversity that's around us, and it's like, wow, but that's creation from chaos. Whew, interesting, cool. Martha Beck says the best way out of anxiety is through the creative route. And that is absolutely true. When we are in anxiety, when we're in the muck, when we're in the mire, when we're disrupted, getting creative, both in how you address the circumstance and creating something new out of it, those are important pieces. When we're living in disruption and instability, quite often we lose connection with our innate capacity. And this is something that as a coach, I walk clients through repeatedly in my practice. I reconnect them to their steel. I reconnect them to who they are. Just like as I began this episode, I talked about this huge dump of crap that just was sitting with me and I got it out. That allowed me to have the clarity of, I have tools to deal with this. When we are in it, we get this tunnel vision. We get closed off from possibility, and we forget that however many years ago we went through some crap and we came out of it. We forget that we had this challenge and we figured it out, we worked through it. We forget that business went sideways and we managed it, and we managed the people, and we got things back on track. We forget that we have been through it and that we came out of it, and then we carried on. And sometimes when we're in it, we forget all of the amazing power and knowledge that we carry with us. So connecting people to what is absolutely true is one of the things that I do. And I want to connect you to what is absolutely true when you're in it, is that you have been in it before and you came out and you learned and you gained strength and resilience and acumen, and you learned and you did it, right? So you can go it again and continue to grow. And that is maybe the biggest lesson for us, is that we are in a process, and the process doesn't stop. We just continue the process. Heat and pressure is chaos, and heat and pressure reveal what we're actually capable of. It exposes the pieces that might not be in alignment with who we are, so we can change them. It allows us to hone our skills, to grow our essential elements. Now, we have a life forging tip. I know you've been wanting that, so I want to give this to you before we wrap up. So here is your life forging tip for today. Think back through all of the challenges and trials in your life. Big ones, small ones, reoccurring ones. List them succinctly on paper. Give yourself some lines in between each one that you write down. Next to every entry, I want you to write, and I made it through. Next, write down all you learned, how you grew, what unexpected gift came from that disruption in your life, and finally, read your paper out loud. Let yourself hear the hardships and foibles that you have experienced. Claim the truth. You made it through. Celebrate your resilience, your strength, your life skills honed, and the expanded ability to manage anything that life brings to your door. And then I want you to tell Christine Clark about what opened up for you when you did that. I can't wait to hear from you. The truth is that we have the ability to vision to what we want to create, both in our lives and in the world. We have been through the process of growing our entire lives, and we have the skills, and we have the knowledge, and we have the guts to do what needs to be done to try it. You have your emergence, and then you can vision forward, and then you can engage, and then you can create and learn as you go. Each of us is a unique, invisible, viable energy in the cosmos. Within our life experiences, our understanding of the world when we look for them. Believe in the processes of becoming. Keep forging through, and we will flourish. I'm Christine Clark. Find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunglow Transformation. Remember to put your name in to receive that 6-session coaching program that I'm giving away. And you can email me at christine@sunglowtransformation.com. Till next time, keep going. You have been listening to Forging a Life with me, Christine Clark, igniting full circle success. Tune in every second and fourth Tuesday at 9 a.m. on Transformation Talk Radio for more life forging tips to spark your liberated, energized, and profoundly satisfying life. As each of us forge our unique destiny, we light the way for others, igniting world healing transformation. It's never been a question of, do you have what it takes? It's only, are you willing to try? Schedule a complimentary personal clarity session. Visit forgingalife.com. That's forgingalife.com.